what's up guys, Benny here, and Verdansk is back, and these are the top 7 meta loadouts that you need to be running in order to do the best that you possibly can. And we've also included the best class setups for all the brand new guns. That's the Kilo, the Amax, the HDR, and of course, the Grau as well. It's a very exciting season. Warzone is back, but let's hop straight into our first loadout. And if you are new around here, take a second and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out. Now, one thing I'm going to mention as we get into our first loadout, which is the Amax and the C9, is you're going to want to start running overkill loadouts once again, because you can no longer buy weapons from the buy station. So a lot of the time people would grab their 8 attachment assault rifle and then buy their SMG from the buy station. That is no longer possible. So you're going to want to have an overkill setup to grab first so you can dominate at all ranges. You're going to want a powerful assault rifle, and then you're also going to want to have a powerful SMG so you can win those gunfights up close or at a distance. The Amax, of course, has been made top of the meta by Call of Duty. It's no surprise. It's one of the most iconic weapons from the franchise, and I cannot even begin to imagine the amount of time that I spent using this weapon on Verdansk the first time around. But the class setup you're going to want to run, right? You're going to have that Volskiv reflex, which I'll never be able to say. 1x scopes are actually really good this year, just because you get a lot less visual recoil, and if you're returning to the game because you've not played Warzone in a while and want to hop on Verdansk, using the 1x's are definitely a lot easier. You can't see your target as clearly, but in the terms of like having visual recoil, there is a lot less, so you can track and take advantage of aim assist that little bit easier compared to like the Willis 3x, which is very much like the VLK that we used to use in Verdansk. If you want a better scope, like a more zoomed in scope, go for the Willis, but I personally use the Volskiv. Also, with the Battle Pass, the return of the monolithic suppressor, and this is huge to the game's meta because most people have been running the compensator for that recoil control reduction. With the monolithic returning, you're now getting bullet velocity, damage range, and also staying off the radar. Red dots were just everywhere on Urzikstan towards the end. I actually hate saying Urzikstan. I'm so glad Verdansk is back, but this means you stay off radar, you're gonna have that increased bullet velocity and damage range, so you're gonna take your opponents down faster. Like you can see here, this build has 1,700 bullet velocity, which is absolutely ridiculous, by the way. Like that is practically hit scan. Then we've got the game twist barrel on here for even more bullet velocity, and then the extended mag 2 as well, so you can have 60 rounds. But if you're playing like solos or duos, I'd actually recommend dropping this to 45 rounds, just because then you're going to have that faster ADS. Like you can see, you kind of have 335 ADS and also 190 sprint to fire speed compared to 210 and 355. So if you don't need the 60 rounds like trios and quads, go for the 60, so you can hold down and get loads of kills and people flying in and rotating across like open ground. Because we didn't actually have this in the original Warzone. 45 rounds was a max for the Amax, but that's it. And then we've got the overpressured rounds. Now, I'm going to put you in something here. Like 1,700 bullet velocity is absolutely ridiculous. If you struggle with your recoil a little bit, throw the recoil springs on. You're still going to have 1,400 bullet velocity, which is higher than most snipers, by the way. And this is the highest bullet velocity we've ever had in Warzone. So I can see it getting tuned pretty quickly. But if you throw on the recoil springs and go to the firing range, right, you'll be able to see, right, the Amax has really controllable recoil with stupidly fast TTKs. So that's what I'd recommend personally. If you want the extra bullet velocity, throw that on, but I use the recoil springs just because on the Amax, just having that extra recoil, that extra kind of like kick, and then being able to have 42 damage for an upper chest, 62 for a headshot, you're gonna take the people down so quickly. I then use the C9, the MP5. This is the classic Warzone loadout, and the C9 is, in my opinion, even with all the changes, the best SMG in Warzone. I run the compensator for that extra recoil control. I then got the reinforced barrel for that damage range and bullet velocity, the range of foregrip for horizontal recoil and sprinting movement speed, the extended mag 2 so you can take out multiple opponents, very helpful in quads. I've been running this like all of last season in ranked and they didn't touch it. It's still the #1 SMG in the game. And then balanced stock for strafing movement, movement speed, hip fire movement, and aim walking speed. It's a great all-rounder, and you don't really need 8 attachment SMGs. Like the difference between a 5 attachment and an 8 attachment is so small. So it's not worth using that extra loadout to get it. But that is my first loadout. We've then got shock charge, impact grenades, survivor, cold-blooded, and tempered. Tempered is even more important now. I would always run it over Ghost for the pure reason that they've gone back to the original plate system. So you're going to have 5 plates, and then if you find a vest, you get 8. That's not very many. Like you don't even get 2 full heals in fights, while Tempered is going to at least allow you to have like 2.5, and then like 4 full heals if you find the armor vest. So run Tempered is pretty much a must-pick perk now, especially when you can't loot perks anymore. And then Ghost is also a viable option out of all the available ones. Then Cold-Blooded just means you're not getting tapped up by Tracker, which a lot of players run, and means you can pass through smoke without getting kind of clogged up, which is another thing. Shock charges are great if you're holding, but smoke grenades, make sure you've got them in your squad. Then Survivor, so you can pick your teammates up faster or get picked up faster yourself. Very, very helpful around. But that is our first loadout that you want to be using. But we've then got our second, which is the Kilo with the KSV. Now this, in my opinion, is the number 2 best setup. The Kilo is the most friendly weapon to use. Now, once again, this is our overkill setup. We do have 8 attachment versions for both the Amax and Kilo later on in the video if you're going to want those, because they're ridiculous, to be perfectly honest. But I run a Iron Sight Kilo for my 5 attachments. We've got the monolithic suppressor on there. We've got the gain twist barrel, the vertical foregrip, the extender mag 3, which is kind of giving me XM4 100 round mag vibes, because 80 bullets. You're getting 8. I know we had this pretty much in like Verdansk the first time round, but still 80 bullets is obscene without ridiculous penalties. Like the extender mag 2, yes, like you are getting like over a 400 ADS time, but most of the time when you're firing your assault rifle, you're posted up anyway. You could run the 60 if you are like a bit more of an aggressive player and like running all over the place. But 80 round, you're going to be able to beam people coming out from the sky. You're going to be able to like hold people easily, take people out of vehicles. It's so nice. And then the overpressured rounds for that bullet velocity to give you near 1,800 meters a second. Now, if I go into the firing range here, I'll just quickly show it to you. There's a bug with the firing range, so you've got to flip like this. But really clean iron sight, very, very easy to hit your shots. And like I said, 80 round mag, ridiculous, but very, very fun. Then if you don't like the C9, the KSV is the next fastest killing SMG. When we first saw the patch notes, we thought the Sorg and the Jackal were going to be there, but the Sorg's not as good as the KSV or the C9. So KSV, you're going to have the compensator, reinforced barrel, ranger foregrip, extender mag 2, and then the balanced stock, just to give you the best overall build. I really like the KSV. I will always go with the C9 personally. But it's a great option. A little bit more kick, harder to use, but it's the MP5 for me. But I thought I'd better give you a couple options just in case you're not the biggest fan of the C9. And of course, C4s are back. If you hit a vehicle with a C4 now, it's going to explode and kill everyone inside. So run these. If you see a car running around without a trophy system on the top, lob a C4 at them, and you're going to be able to get some of the easiest squad wipes in history. But it's nice that C4s are once again viable, and you can set traps for people pushing you. And it's not just going to be impact grenades after impact grenades like we've had the last couple of seasons. But otherwise, setup's the same. Survivor, Cold-Blooded, and Tempered is my go-to. If you don't want Cold-Blooded, go for Tracker. If you don't want Survivor, like I would personally go for like Veteran, so you don't get hit by like flash gas movement shocks and things like that as badly. But Survivor, I think it's the best team perk in the game. Next, we've got the Grau. Really nice to see this back. I was actually kind of disappointed they didn't bring it back as its own individual weapon. It got put as a conversion kit, which you will unlock in the battle pass. But if we quickly just go to the firing range, I'll quickly show it to you just because, you know, it's classic. Though they have sort of messed the iron sights up. I could see them changing this because there was a lot of very unhappy people on Twitter when this got dropped, because it's not exactly the same, because, you know, it's not as clean. Right, this just needs to come a bit more forward. You need to be able to see that kind of like optic a little bit better, but it's still got the same killing power. No recoil whatsoever. 60 round mag. It does feel like the Grau used to. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I think they've nailed it on the head though with how the guns feel, and we're getting those classic metas back, which I personally am very happy about. Let me know if you are down in the comments and which one out of the Amax, the Kilo, and the Grau you're going to be running first. But I then pair that with the Kompakt. Now, people are arguing that this is that it is the fastest TTK SMG, but it is very hard to use. So And it's not as versatile, like medium range, like there's some of those gunfights that you're a little bit further away from. You're not as accurate as the C9, so you could lose some fights that you would have otherwise won. But right up close inside of buildings, the Kompakt 92 is going to come out on top. And for that, compensated, reinforced barrel, range of foregrip, extended mag 3, and then recoil springs, because it's very high fire rate. And I'll quickly show you, just so you know what I'm on about. It does kick a lot more. And like at that sort of range is where you'll lose out. But 10 to 15 meters, nothing beats the Kompakt. It's got like a 530 millisecond time to kill or something around there. Then snipers, very, very happy. I pair it with the C9 that we saw earlier in my overkill setup. You're never really going to grab an 8 attachment sniper, but the HDR is one shot at all ranges. You're going to have that monolithic suppressor on there for that bullet velocity damage range. Gain twist barrel for more bullet velocity. Quick draw for faster ADS. Then the target laser for that aiming idle, sway, and aim walking steadiness, just so you can kind of snap onto your target and hit it easier. And then overpressured for that extra bullet velocity. This is going to give you 1,200 meters a second, and this is what I'm talking about earlier, like the kilos, like 1,800, the Amax 1,400 with recoil springs. HDR sniper only 1,200, but it is a guaranteed one-shot headshot at any range, right? Or a 2-shot kill anywhere else. So unbelievable. So glad they've got a 1-shot headshot sniper for pubs once again. But bullet velocity, a little bit weak, even with all the attachments going it compared to like the assault rifles. Don't know if they'll change that in the future, but you'll be able to have a lot of fun sniping. It is the best choice if you want those 1-shot kills across Verdansk, just like we used to. I'm going to try and get that kill from prison once again towards like downtown. My furthest snipe, like 700 meters. I was buzzing, but all the classic weapons are back. HDR, that's the build you're going to want to run. And then the setups are all the same. Next, we got the Cypher. This is probably the only assault rifle that still kind of fits within the meta from earlier in the season without new weapons. Other than the AK-47, which has a very fast TTK potential, but the recoil is obscene. But the Cypher that I run, it's an 8 attachment one, Volskiv compensator, but we're going to swap that out for the monolithic suppressor. You've then got the gain twist, the vertical foregrip, the extended mag 2, commando grip, for that kind of like ADS, jumping fights, sprint to fights, makes it a much more mobile assault rifle, combat stock, and then the overpressured rounds to finish it up. It's what I was using in ranked play last season. I really, really enjoy using the Cypher, but the Kilo and the Amax are better, just a heads up. And also, right, when you've got grabbing an 8 attachment weapon, right, stick a launcher on, because yes, it's like an RPG. If a vehicle's going past, you hit it with the RPG, it's going boom if they don't have a trophy system on it. And I think a lot of people are going to get caught out with this. And like there were some iconic clips from the early days of Verdansk of people just getting taken out by RPGs, flying in helicopters, just cross-mapping vehicles out of the sky. I remember Stod doing that actually. So I expect to see a lot of cool clips of this this season. Then we've got the Kilo 8 attachment. If you want this, this adds a scope on it. I'll actually just show it to you in the firing range so you can see the difference. But we'll go to our Kilo 8 attachment, and like honestly, look at this. It's a laser beam. Like I'm not even leaned in right now, right? Not even taking advantage of rotational aim assist, but it is so easy. 80 round mag, very fast TTK. The build, Volskiv, monolithic, gain twist, vertical, extended mag 3, quick draw grip, combat stock, and then the overpressured rounds. Then we've got our 8 attachment Amax class, which is the Volskiv, the monolithic, the gain twist, the vertical foregrip, the extended mag 2, quick draw grip, combat stock, and then the recoil springs. Now, my advice is grab your overkill meta loadout first, of whatever one that you're using, and then on the second loadout, whether that's a free loadout drop or or you manage to buy 2, then grab your 8 attachment assault rifle and just pick your SMG back up. That is what the majority of players will be doing this season. And then, you know, just you can stick on a rocket launcher as your secondary as well, just because they're not the easiest things to find, and sometimes it's nice to have. And then also have a 5 attachment SMG build, which has battle ready. So with armor boxes and munitions actually being like 4K, 2.5K, you're going to want to buy an extra loadout sometimes, and then all grab battle ready. So especially in quads where you then all have a munitions box, so you can refill your ammo and plates towards the end game. This is a game changer. Let me know what you think in the comments. I hope these meta loadouts help you out, and enjoy Verdansk. Warzone is back. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you tomorrow for another video. Thanks for watching. Bye.